Good evening, and welcome to Neutral News, the program that looks at the world and says, We have only one story tonight, a story so significant, so seismic in its implications that all other global events have been rendered utterly trivial in comparison. We are, of course, referring to the confirmed price of a carbonated alcoholic beverage at a forthcoming musical event in Manchester. The price of a pint at the Oasis gigs in Heaton Park has been announced. We go to our correspondent, Susan, who has been following this story with a level of dedication usually reserved for things that matter. Susan,
Neil, the price for a pint of lager or cider at this weekend's Oasis concerts in Heaton Park has been confirmed at £6.50.
£6.50. Let's just let that number hang in the air for a moment. Not £6, not 7, but £6.50 of the Queen's pence. A figure of profound specificity. Susan, has there been any clarification on how this figure was reached? Was there a committee? Were spreadsheets involved?
The precise methodology remains shrouded in mystery, Neil. One can only speculate that a team of leading economists, philosophers, and marketing gurus were locked in a room for several weeks, emerging only when they had landed on a figure that perfectly balanced consumer outrage with shareholder satisfaction. £6.50 appears to be that golden ratio.
It's a masterpiece of pricing psychology. It's a figure that says we could have charged you more, and you know it. It's almost an act of charity wrapped in an insult. What has the public reaction been to this fiscal decree?
The reaction has been one of deep and troubling confusion, Neil. Years of conditioning have prepared the British public to expect a price point closer to double figures, a price that requires a period of quiet reflection and a call to one's bank manager. The arrival of a £6.50 pint has disrupted this fragile ecosystem. People don't know whether to be relieved or suspicious. Many are now reportedly concerned about what other unexpected pleasantries may await them. Reasonably priced merchandise, perhaps. It's a terrifying thought.
It is a slippery slope. Once you introduce the concept of not entirely reasonable, the entire edifice of stadium catering could collapse. Now, we understand there is a secondary and perhaps even more significant development in this story. It concerns baked goods.
That's correct, Neil. While the £6.50 pint has captured the headlines, our sources can now confirm the price of a sausage roll will be £8.
£8. So, for absolute clarity for our viewers, the rehydrated meat and pastry casing is valued at a full £1.50 more than the pint of anesthetizing lager. This is a bold culinary and economic statement. Some might say a decision that is supersonic in its audacity.
It is a pricing structure that invites and indeed demands rigorous analysis. The prevailing theory is that attendees will be so disarmed by the perceived bargain of the £6.50 pint that they will enter a state of fiscal euphoria. In this state, their critical faculties will be dimmed, making them uniquely vulnerable to the suggestion of purchasing an £8 sausage roll. It's a classic loss leader strategy, Neil, except the leader isn't a loss. It's just slightly less of a rip-off than you were stealing yourself for.
It's a work of genius. It's almost as if they want people to roll with it. Susan, has there been any analysis on the per-gram cost of this pastry product versus, say, silver or saffron?
Our in-house economics team has been running the numbers, Neil. Preliminary findings suggest that on a weight-for-weight basis, the Heaton Park sausage roll is significantly more valuable than several precious metals and most artisan cheeses. We are awaiting confirmation, but it may also be more expensive per inch than the original master tapes of What's the Story?
Morning glory. A truly astonishing statistic. It's almost as if you're not just buying a snack, you're acquiring an asset. Let us return to the beverage for a moment. Has there been any breakdown of the 650 figure? How much is for the liquid itself, and how much is a surcharge for the privilege of listening to Wonderwall in a field with 80,000 other people?
Much information has been, perhaps unsurprisingly, withheld, Neil. However, based on wholesale liquid cost, we can estimate that approximately 40 pence accounts for the beer, and the remaining £6.10 covers what is technically known as the experiential overhead. This includes the cost of the plastic cup, the use of the ground on which you stand, and a contribution to the emotional labor of serving thousands of men in bucket hats.
The experiential overhead. A beautiful piece of terminology. Now, we must not neglect the non-alcoholic side of this equation. For those designated drivers, or for those simply wishing to remain hydrated, what is the situation?
The situation is stark, Neil. Leaked menu fragments indicate that a 500 milliliter bottle of water will retail for £4.
£4 for water. The substance that, and correct me if I'm wrong, falls from the sky on a fairly regular basis in Manchester.
Your understanding is correct, Neil. This pricing allows concert goers the unique opportunity to stand in a potentially rain-soaked field while simultaneously paying 16 times the supermarket price for a bottled version of the very same substance. It is a masterclass in creating value where none previously existed. It is also notably more expensive per litre than petrol.
One could drive to the concert, but one could not afford to drink there. A true quandary. It presents a choice. Do you spend your money on the fuel that gets you home, or on the water that prevents you from collapsing before the encore? It's a level of jeopardy that I'm sure will live forever in the memories of the attendees. Let us circle back to the central issue, the £6.50 pint. Has this decision caused any dissent among other vendors? Are we likely to see a price war break out at the falafel stein?
It is unlikely, Neil. The pricing structure appears to be centrally controlled with military precision. The psychological anger of the 650 pint serves to make all other prices, no matter how exorbitant, seem plausible by comparison. An £8 sausage roll seems almost logical next to a £4 water. A £12 portion of chips in a cone would, at this point, feel like a bargain. They have created their own micro-economy. They have, in effect, created a new currency pegged not to gold, but to the perceived value of a pint of lager.
It are fiendishly clever. Has there been any official comment, a press release, a triumphant statement from the organisers on their generosity?
There has been a wall of silence, Neil. The lack of self-congratulatory statement is in itself telling. The working theory among industry analysts is that this was not a strategic move to win public favour, but perhaps a typographical error in a memo from which they cannot now, for fear of a minor civil disturbance, retreat. Somewhere, a junior accountant may have typed a 6 where a 9 was intended, and in doing so has become an accidental hero of the people.
Oh, delightful possibility. A single misplaced keystroke, saving the concert-going public millions in aggregate. That person should not look back in anger. So, to summarize the situation, for anyone just joining us, a pint of beer is surprisingly less expensive than you might have feared, but everything else is surprisingly more expensive than you could possibly have imagined, using the beer as a psychological weapon to lull you into a false sense of security. Is that a fair assessment?
It is a brutally accurate and commendably neutral summary of the situation, Neil.
Thank you, Susan, for that continuing and frankly exhaustive analysis of this single solitary fact. So, as the opening chords of Rock and Roll Star undoubtedly ring out, thousands will raise their plastic cups. They will do so secure in the knowledge that while they are being comprehensively fleeced on all other fronts, the pint itself is only moderately overpriced. A small victory in the grand, unending war of attrition that is being a music fan in the 21st century. Good night.